We are on the CMS.gov website, and we are going to review to see if a procedure code has an active LCD. So the first thing you're going to see here is you're going to enter a keyword, code, or document ID, and then the specific state that you're working for. The document ID, unless you're working with LCDs on a regular basis, you may know the document ID. As a coder, I find it's easier just to type in the CPT code, and that will bring up all the active LCDs. So I'm going to just type in a CPT code, 20552. And here I'm going to see all of the active articles on this. An article is the equivalent to LCD. What you'll find when you start looking at some of these, you're going to either find it called article or you're going to see it called an LCD. If it is called LCD, you're going to see an equivalent article. You can't actually find the ICD-10 diagnosis codes within an LCD. You're going to have to look at the equivalent article. This particular example will be okay because they're all listed as articles. Over here is the contractors, the MACs, as we determined in the lecture. These are all the different MACs that have an active LCD for this particular CPT code. So I'm going to just pick the first one. So up here, this is our actual article ID. So as I said before, if you know the article ID, you can enter the ID. This right here is the article title. This is the effective date. You can see there's been no revision dates or no retirement date. It's still active. That might come into play if you're doing some kind of retro review, or if an LCD has just changed and you're reviewing an accounts that are a little bit older. You're going to want to make sure that your date of service is within the date that it's active. This part is just giving you guidance and talking about the documentation requirements. And then we're going to get into the coding. So I am looking at 20552. So what I'm going to see, the MAC is determined that these particular ICD-10 codes, and there's quite a bit on this one, and you can scroll to the next. Some have a shorter list than others. But this has 3 pages worth of payable diagnoses. So that's how I'm going to determine if the documentation and what's coded is supporting this CPT code. So we will look at a few examples, and then we will come back and go through those examples.